Okay, so it's another podcast episode, and on this episode, we're also having a great gentleman, another great creative spirit. He's going to be sharing from the depth of his experiences and his expertise in his peculiar industry. As you know, my name is Emeka Nobis, and I'm the host of the Knowledge Money podcast. And as you know, this conversation always leads to the money. And that's the objective of Knowledge Money Podcast. Every conversation leads to the money. Today I have who we popularly call Mr. Prof. I mean, he has another name, but he's going to explain why he's being called Mr. Prof on this episode. So let's welcome Mr. Prof for this episode of this podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mekanobis, for having me. Or should I call it the Don? I like that. I like that the Don part. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You know, when I started calling myself the Don, I had a lot of flack. Some individuals, especially from my university, were like, who are you? You know? So, but today, they have accepted the name. I think it's as a result of people see when you call yourself something and you go ahead to implement and have results, people just have naturally we just accept.
I've always been curious of how you came about that name, the Don. If you had affiliations with the Don people, if you want to call them the Don people, if you had affiliations with them, and then
I just accepted that name. He was my friend, back in the days, and we used to play Scrabble.
Okay.
So I was always winning. I had ways of studying the dictionary and winning. And then one day the guy said, the Don, you're the Don in this. That was how.
And then picked up from there.
Open my email, eminobisdon@gmail.com, like that. And then when I decided to go fully into branding myself, I just started to adopt the name. I don't know if you had that. I just wanted to understand why Mr. Prof.
Mr. Prof, it used to be NC Prof.
Oh, really?
Yes, it used to be MC Prof until about last 4 years. That was when I realized that the whole MC thing has a way of stereotyping, mostly for the ecosystem we operate, right? Once you hear MC, the tailor is down to you must be a wedding MC, must be one guy that anchors a birthday or one simple event, So I said, okay, this MC thing has to rest. Let me include the Mr. And of course, the Prof is professor. Professor, yeah. It started from my days in secondary school.
Okay.
So in my days in secondary school, back then, I used to be a good writer and a speaker, right?
I was you're still a good writer.
Yes, now responsibilities is attacking it gradually. So I used to be a good writer and speaker. Even then, I won an award from the NYSC camp, right? Where they came up and then they gave me this award as a young student that was most cooperative. And then I spoke well. I had good writing. So it just started from there. And then for most competition, this inter-school challenges and all that, I presented my school in anything that has to do with speaking and writing. So coming back to the class and everybody started hailing, professor. I started realizing, okay, this looks like a good name. It can pass, and then I adopted it. So from there, it started growing with me, and then to this moment. But I dropped that MC thing that attached to it when I picked up interest in hosting. That has a different story of which you will catch along the line. Yeah, then that's good.
Every appellation has a story behind it. My own had a story. It was my friend, as I told you.
And the parents has a way of giving us these names.
Okay, I'm happy that you started out from there, what you were doing, and then picked interest in hosting and all that. You're a bundle of talents. I've seen you do comedy, you do event hosting, you write, you're speaking, and you're doing MC. Are you of the bracket of individuals who believe that people should do one thing, or they should be an expression of of different talents? If you say yes to any one of them, how has this been for you? Looking at the fact that you decided to remove the MC for not being box,
leave Prof
there. Now you was a Prof expression of different talents.
Well, every conversation we have here today will boil down to where we find ourselves, and this by extension Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right. But ideally, I would recommend anyone in a working country, I would say, for me, that just find one thing, focus on it. Right. It's because of where we find ourselves, where we have a system that is not working, then you have to look for 50 streams of income. So you dive into this, you try this out, and then so long as you have little knowledge on it, then you want to really, really, really jump on it. But for me, at some point, right, I always tell people when they ask me, how long have you been in the business of hosting? I'll tell them 5 years professionally. Now this is not like I've not been hosting events long before this time. If we have to calculate that, it's way over 10 years, 10, 11, 15 years or thereabout. But when I started treating it like a business, like, okay, this has to pay me what it has to pay me.
Yeah.
The payment pattern, see, they're different.
Yeah.
There are times when they just pay you and then you're trying to survive. There's a vibe of a young man, you need to make some money. But when you start treating it like a business, it differs, right? So from the point I started treating it like a business, that's when I decided to drop every other thing. Those ones just come around mostly on Facebook. I'm a big Facebook user. So mostly on Facebook, I try to express myself in other areas that, yes, have strength in. But if you go to my LinkedIn, I'm one very serious individual posting. Nothing else happens there, right? If you come to my Instagram, something about that nature, But like I said, for a working country, find one thing, stay on it. But you are in Niger. You're in Niger. MC by day, then I do POS. That's it. Just make sure you do a lot of things that will put money in your pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great school of thought too. My next question is: many people think that MCs are just entertainers, and I'm glad that you're in the business. And when I read your posts on Facebook, there's a way you think. There's a way. We'll come to that.
Okay.
But I see where you are constantly educating how these things have to be done correctly. When in the entertainment space, be it hosting events that have to do with comedy or singing, or
Getting it right.
to getting things right. So I want you to take us into that world, because that's where you function, and share with us. There's certain things behind the scenes. I mean, I had a guest who was speaking about photography, that they do events, and all they are thinking about how photographers. What about educating those who are not photographers, the users of the product, to be able to understand what they go through? He made a very peculiar example that all around on our streets, we see those who make clothes. They tell us we are seeing them physically, but nobody knows behind the scene of a photographer. They just feel like take the picture, check them, and then we don't know. So we educate the audience, share your thoughts about the behind the scenes and the things that we don't really necessarily see.
Okay.
In building a business.
So I'll say two things, right? First off, the reason I started charging good money, I call it good money, is because of this notion people have with MCs. No, we just to talk, okay. So no, we just to talk, go and talk, right? That's the reason I'm charging a high fee. And now I'll say this quickly. I used to do comedy, pure comedy, not even hosting per se. This was way from even from my secondary school days, pure comedy. And I was really good at it, right? But coming to the things I write and how I tried in my efforts to educate younger people, if you look at my social media handles, I write about a whole lot of stuff. Maybe sometimes I try to stay on within my industry, all in, stay on your niche, it helps, right? But it used to be comedy until the passion is driving me to make sure things are done right.
Yeah.
That's what took me to actual hosting. Because from hosting, you tend to coordinate the way things are done in a typical event setting, in a typical showbiz or whatever it is. But from that point where you have the mic, you have the authority to control how things are done. So at some point, I started transitioning into full-time hosting. Can I still do comedy? 100%. I can do perfect stand-up comedy, at least once an hour. But for me, the hosting is where I see an opportunity to educate people, to coordinate things, right? Now, behind the scene, for me, I read a lot, right? I read that I'm so scared of not knowing. I wrote one time on my social media that the biggest problem people have is that they have an opportunity to learn something and it's there in the book, but they ignore it. And then they're looking for where to lay hands and give them some fake white handkerchief. I call it fake because of the material, not the.
I read that post.
Not the action. I'm just saying the material itself is fake, and then they use cooking oil and call it olive oil and all of that. But you are holding the mic. You want to coordinate people. You need a depth. You need to understand what you're coordinating. You need to have knowledge. In fact, before you even open your mouth to speak, you need to know what you're saying. And that can only come from reading. I don't think there's any other person that has a hack to it where you can speak so well, you can write so well, and then you're telling me you never went to school. If there's such spiritual gift, I pray for it. Because reading can be stressful, if we have to be honest. You understand? But behind the scene, it's a lot of reading, It's a lot of research. You don't just wake up and that is why I always cry on social media, because I've gone to events and they just know this person know nothing they do. You just wake up, carry microphone. It's an art. It's full-time job. You understand? So behind the scene, we do a lot of, personally, I would say, I don't know about others, I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of research. I'm hosting an event tomorrow here where we're having this recording, right? Around this environment. And they contracted me 3 weeks earlier. From the very day I confirmed alert, because for me that's when booking has happened.
Absolutely.
I started researching about the industry. I started researching about who calls the shots, what they're about, so that when I come there and I hold the mic, you know, okay, this person came prepared, and that's what sets you apart from the regular. I forgive the words, criminals that just collect peanuts and spoil the industry, the business of hosting. So the real work is in your study behind the scene, because there's a lot of reading. In fact, for you to host, for you to open your mouth and speak, you must know what you're saying. You understand? And that's where the whole reading and research comes in.
That's fantastic. And I've seen you on social media before I ask you the next question. So, I mean, when you put out your thoughts out there,
Okay.
a lot of individuals are scared. One of the things about us earning income from what we do is our ability to show the world that we are here, we are existing, right? But a lot of individuals are scared of flags, like people, the comment section and all the fire and everything. Like, for example, when he wrote that post, I read it and I was like, people would now start thinking, so you have been handkerchiefs and
Handkerchief.
oils. I think I even saw a girl that came there and began to warn you about men of God and all those kind of things. I can't remember exactly now, but I think it was in that line. Can you speak to the individuals who are watching and about the boldness of visibility, or the boldness of assertions, or boldness of showcase that creative individuals have to imbibe?
Imbibe. Okay, first off, right? I'll call it the business of creativity. The day you sign up to be a creative, that's the day you sign up to be criticized. As for me, that's the day you sign up to be hated, because your thought process will be so unpopular. The things that comes out from you with things that challenge the average mind, and they will react to it. There will be resistance. It will always face resistance, right? Ignorance has a way of facing resistance. Funny how that post, I took it down much later, not because of any other thing, but because of the weapon it was brandishing and all of that. It didn't match what I was looking at for my profile. In as much as the algorithm picked it, the conversations were so much and I just wiped it off. Not even because they were backlashing me and all of that. As a matter of fact, I love drinking, I would say drinking their tears, right? Whenever I write something that triggers them, triggers ignorance, I just like drinking from it. So once you sign up to be a creative and you're saying, you're so sure of what you're saying, it's important you're sure what you're saying, just know that you'll be hated, you face resistance. So one of the key factors of being a sound creative is the ability to accept or to endure being hated. They won't like you for saying something unpopular. Jesus was never loved for Christians. He was never really, really loved back then, right? That's the stories they have us on books. So whenever he spoke, you see people trying to react, people trying to misunderstand him, and that's just ignorance on their own part. So the day you sign up, I will say this for emphasis sake, that any day you sign up to be creative, to put out unpopular thoughts, to say the truth in particular, be ready to be hated. Nobody likes the truth. The truth they say is bitter. That's the point. So they just run away from it. So you need the guts to say this and stand by it. The ability to be hated. It's something you need, that thick skin. You need it.
Is this something we'll have to build, or
Well, you have to build it.
right?
You have to build it. This brings us back to what I talked about reading. You need a lot of knowledge to live life. You need to that I always say this, right? To people that care to listen. Anybody suffering now is suffering based on ignorance. It's suffering because you don't know, right? My respect for the next man is because they know what this person does not know. That is basically how I respect people. I don't know if it applies to everybody. But the moment I see that this person is sound, my respect to you goes 100%. Even if we are thinking in the same wavelength, I just know that, okay, so long as you know something, we are good to go. So I wrote something before coming down here on Facebook about intelligent people make the best life partners.
I saw that.
It's a lot of fire in the comment section right now. People saying, hey, no. And the moment they make that comment, I just click. By the way, I'll recommend before you argue with someone on social media, click on their profile. Your time is
Do
important.
they have issues with somebody being intelligent and support?
That is the problem. I'm trying to understand it. So you could see them reacting to it like, no, it's not about that. Really, really. So that's the point. That's the point.
Okay. I've seen you also, in recent times, you talked about a lot of interviews are hosted events. Gary, beans, rice, stone event.
No, Stone Festival. You might just be here next year. You see someone putting up Knowledge Money Festival. I bet you. But they see it's working. They see what you do. By the way, you're doing an amazing work online there, right? More they see is working. They all jump back from nowhere. Just Knowledge Money Festival.
Okay, but I want you to take this time to address this. I mean, to the individuals, maybe people who want to really get into the event thing, because you go to some events, it's poorly done, timing is whack, the procedural event is a mess. Even the attendance is a whole lot of another vibe in itself. I mean, can you address the? I mean, for those who want to, it's not bad to host events, but
It's bad if you don't have money. So let me. But thank you you brought this up. So this is it, right? I'll say this point plain. If you don't have money, don't host events. It's simple. Events cost money.
we want to evangelize now.
You can't evangelize anything. Events cost money. It costs real money, right? Now, I have a friend back then in secondary school. Right now, he's a big boy. Funny how during our days in secondary school, he was one of the worst students per se. Very dirty boy, Upon Emmanuel, right? I'll share this video with him. You should see it. So somewhere along the line or years down, he's one of the biggest boys right now, handling contracts for government, And then he said something that he read my post, which is why I'm always committed to writing a lot of educative stuffs, because people read it, even if they don't comment or share. So he said it's one of my posts where I wrote about how ideas work, where an idea hits your mind. Doesn't mean you should just start running with it, right? Your first step is, okay, this is not into my mind to do, right? You put it down in writing. Try to understand why it's coming to you. Try to understand how you can get it done better. But what we have these days are people just stay and then they look at one of the biggest events they're permitted to say right now, Bole Festival, globally recognized. Look at it, okay, this one has a lot of people on it. Right? Let me host it. Let me host something similar, or let me host something around Bole. And then they all jump to it. The next day they start disguising that, oh, an idea hits their head. Sometimes not even the idea, it's just you being unnecessarily jealous and envious. And then it hits your mind, you hit the street and start executing what you have no depth of knowledge. You understand? So first off, events cost money. Before you run with that idea, know that, in fact, I was telling somebody recently that the least event you can organize, even if it's just 10 persons, on a poor budget, at least 10 million naira. Right? On a poor budget, 10 million. You don't have it. Just go and join teams. Learn the process. I admire Alibaba so much. He does this January 1st concert every 1st January of the year, on New Year Day, right? So I listened to him speak on one particular interview, and then he said it took him 10 years to develop that particular show. 10 good years to develop that show. Did he have the resources before then? Yes. Did he have the contacts, the network to leverage and get things done? Yes. But he took him 10 years to do it. This is someone that could just wake up. He has been there for a long time. You could just say, okay, I want to do a show, January 1st concert, right? Call this one, and then one or two of his guys will just bring money. He has 100 million to start anything he wants to start. We have to give it time to understand, what am I trying to do? What am I trying to build? Right? And he launched with it. Right now, I don't think there is any show. As a matter of fact, if you put up a show on January 1st in Lagos, you're wasting your time. You waste money in Lagos. You understand? So that this idea hits your head, first of all, understand it. Make sure you have money. I'm saying this because it's not just because it's Knowledge Money podcast. I'm saying have money. If you don't have money, the idea comes, put it down. Nobody's stealing anything from you. Nobody's stealing any damn thing. If it came to you, you're so sure that it came from, how do they call it, above, idea from above. It came to you, just pen it down and then start writing every year. I've not done my own show, even if I have little resources, I'll call it. And then I have a few friends, I could just leverage contacts and get things done. But for over, let me say professionally, 5 years now, I've not attempted a show, even to gather 10 people. Because there's a lot to this. You understand? There is just a whole lot to it. So that you wake up and you want to do an event, make sure you have the resources, make sure you understand the concept, the process of from ideation down to what the logistics will take, down to how you reach out to people. Understand this first, then you can launch. Anything other than that, you end up doing rubbish. You end up gathering people and creating an impression that you're not good at doing things. That's one thing people should understand. You just gather people and prove to them that I'm not good at this. And next year, you think for in your head, you're building something. You're not building nothing. You're not building nothing. I tell people that excellence can be achieved even in smaller fractions. Oh, you don't have it all, but at least you have the bare minimum. That's more way you do. We should see the packaging and coordination that you're actually ready to get something done in a big way. Not you just wake up and then you do more. Okay, let me look down. It's already established. You do
Stool festival.
When to festival, then you just launch and then you start some people with their DMs and then one reached out to me recently because sometimes I try to see how I can support event by posting about it, right? Serving as a publicist sometimes, and then a little token to put them on their toes, right? So they know they're committed to this. And one came recently and said I should post about the event for 1 month. I said, nice idea. What's it about? Explain. Okay. I said, okay, fine. So what's your budget now? I said, but might just give 20K now. 20K for what? I want to understand what is 20K. When you say your post and everything I 1, 2, 3 times. Data, which but funny, I left that chat because I discovered they are not serious. So the bottom line is you want to launch for an event, you want to do an event rather. Make sure you understand what you want to do. That the idea hits your head does not mean you just start running with it. Understand it. Start looking for resources. If truly it came from, know how they say it, above. The above too will bring resources. So go for the resources, get the bare minimum, and then you can launch with it. It's that simple.
Awesome. So that brings me to, one peculiar question that I ask on the podcast, the only part.
Okay.
There are individuals who want to be like you, so people want to know. Want to know on this conversation. How do you make money from what you do from comedy? There are some individuals who I want to be. I see them, a lot of them on Facebook. They're in the comment section. Follow me as I follow you. You know those kind of things. Watch my comedy. You go to people like what's his name, Ring Jota. You see them in the comment section. People be supporting upcoming content creators now. Not when we blow. All those kind of things. And I figure out that it's just the money part, really. So somebody watching, maybe you should take us through the process or through
How you
your
can make
journey,
money.
from comedy, from comparing,
Okay. I'll speak authoritatively in the business of hosting.
Yeah.
Right, because comedy right now has a lot to it. So
Okay,
the business of hosting,
components, okay.
right? Let me speak particularly to people that want to go into hosting or the young and coming, because we are still going somewhere, even if we are not where we used to be.
Yeah.
Right. But you're young and coming, first of all, and you want to do hosting. I'll advise from the day one, treat it like a business. You understand? Don't be like, you don't waste years trying to survive. You can be doing some other side hustle. You can even have a 9 to 5, and then weekends you look for a way and then get the gig that really matches. And first of all, don't lie to yourself. It's important. Don't lie to yourself. Someone won't come in and then we are recording this in 2025, and someone won't come in and I'll tell them $10 million to book me. It's not really realistic. But of course, except the president calls me and here we can start talking about that. But the corporate world, which is my area of expertise, they call me now. I can't tell them 10 million because I'm being realistic with my level and how I scaled it to.
Yeah.
So from the word go, you're up and coming. Understand this is where you are, this is your level, and then take your online presence or your branding game seriously. This is where some of us missed it. Take your online branding game seriously. Don't confuse us with your message. Sometimes I even want to focus strictly on this is me as a host, which is why I dedicated right now my Instagram, Mr Prof official, and then my LinkedIn, I dedicated it to hosting purely. No, the message is not dabbling, it's clear. You understand? I just feel that we are still okay. Maybe in the new year or thereabout, we might just leave every other thing aside and then focus on hosting. So you are up and coming. Don't confuse us with your message. You're a host. Keep that message on. You are a host, Right now I can afford to gamble with it because at least we've built some of trust.
Yeah.
You know, some people know us. Okay, we are hosts and all that. Yeah, so I can afford to. I can post about me hosting today. Like today, I posted a picture of me hosting at the just concluded sales conference 2025. Right. In the night, I might post a different thing altogether that does not relate to hosting. But you, as you're up and coming, you will be confusing us with your message if you want to do that. So from the word go, use your social media presence for why the time being. At least social media will be here for a long time to push your message. Take your branding game seriously. Good pictures. God bless AI. We don't know what AI has in stock for us, but you can use AI to do a whole lot. Once you get your message clear, you've positioned yourself. Of course, we can't overemphasize the need for relationships, right? You want to play in a particular area, you should be found in that area. So I have something I tell people that look, you want person to carry you along, at least stand for road. It's important. Than driving, you want to be carried along, stand for road. So find yourself or make sure you are actually in the corridors of things that has to do with hosting. Make sure you find yourself in the environment. That is the only way you can attract, right? That is the second phase of it. And then I think that's basically it. Get your message right on social media because that's where we practically push our art right now. And then secondly, relationships. Make sure you leverage the environment where this particular service you want to offer or you're offering is being called for, is being demanded of, right? That is just it. Once you have these two things, right, every other thing is basically secondary, you know, and then from there, the money will come because the more gigs, the more money, right? And then media, I can separate that from the branding area because you can get everything right on social media with your profile, writing and all that. But if your contents are the content itself, from pictures to videos, if they are not right, you might just miss out a lot of money on the table. You know, it's something I plan to introduce even in the new year, where okay, I will not disclose that, but let me just drop a little of it. Yeah, let me just chip in something there. You don't need to be in an event to record a video of you hosting.
Oh, wow.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to. It is just now that I'm trying to even push, okay, videos attached and all that, but I'm going to introduce something in the new year and I look forward to a lot of people copying it, yes, where you don't need to be in an event to record a video of you that sends the message that I can do this. If you give me your microphone, you get value for it. Once you have these things I've mentioned, right, every other thing, secondary. Maybe Mrs. Otobre will teach you about money, handling money, and all that. We'll have other people in the conversation, but that's it from me as a host.
In 2024, I was hustled off stage for the first time in my speaking career.
Okay.
It was an emotional moment for me. It was painful. And the guy did not really tell me why until the event was over.
Okay.
So his anger was that I did not talk about the event that I was coming to speak as a speaker. So that was a very painful, emotional moment for you. And that helped me also to learn a lesson and then began, you know, for every time I have an experience, I go back and I
Cross your tears.
fix it back, fix it into my, how do I, modus operandi right now, you know. So anybody who's inviting me to an event, this. And so it made us to even break my, so now we have bouquets, you know,
Okay.
different bouquets. If you pay for this is what is going to happen to it. If you pay for this level, this is what is going to happen. So if you are choosing the least, means that I'm not writing about your event. I'm not talking about your event on my
I'll just come there and then.
I'll go speak, go back. Even when the pictures come out, I may post the pictures, but I'll never talk about.
Oh yeah.
So if you choose it, you know, you have bound yourself by that choice and that agreement. So that happened as a result of what happened last year.
For me, I'm trying to build a career where it doesn't thrive on the fact that it doesn't thrive on drama. You understand? But there are people doing things I don't like. A whole lot of them. You understand? Most MCs in Port Harcourt are terrible. The word is terrible. I don't like them. The reason being that they spoil the business. So you see a big company calls your, let me say, a typical government function. You know this will have money. Hey, Diego, they have money. They call you, okay, we need so MCs to get things done. Our budget is 1 million. Yeah, there's one idiot somewhere that will just tell them, wait till they give 1 million for Port Harcourt. In the house, yeah, go ask and we'll give them 200. I kid you not, it happened. It happens. Now, even for sometimes you see a gig where these people contracted you and then you people are playing around 700, 500. And then they will get back to you is the word, right? And for most times when clients say, we'll get back to you, that means they want to check others. So they not check someone, maybe even higher. Is the word higher than you? Okay, let's use higher than you, or someone just out there more, and then they contact that person. They were battling 500, 700 with you. And that idiot will go there and tell them, no worry, give me 200. This is supposed to be a senior man. So they are messing up the industry here. It is not the same thing in Lagos. I make both to say it. Forget this thing they talk about. Don't compare what I call Lagos. Go to Lagos and see what happened. That you're calling the list of the MCs. Forgive me to say that. Permit me to say that, right? The list of the MCs, they are telling you 500, 1 million, 2 million. And they pay. They'll tell you because they are multinational company. Nonsense. It is a lot of work to hold microphone and coordinate an event. It's a lot of work because an event can afford to function without a sound, I bet you. But if you have a good MC, even without a okay, so there's this video that I made it online. I've forgotten that guy's name, an MC, where they went to an event center. It's an open door event. I can't remember the video. I will look for you to search it and attach here, right? And the sound went bad, or they stopped them from using the sound. MC Nogrio, he carried sound keep on side, coordinated that wedding. It was one of the best weddings I had around that environment. You understand? So if they understand the place of an MC, I don't think they will be condescending so low, underpricing themselves just to, is it to feel relevant? Because sometimes I'm confused. Some of these people have families, they drive good cars, so why do they keep condescending so low and spoiling the business? I don't know. So for a lot of them, I have issues with them. Real issues with them for the fact that they spoil the business for us, where they keep dropping the bar. Whenever I try to raise it a bit,
They drop it again.
they hit it down. I don't even talk about their social media presence. Nothing to write home about. So they don't even take the branding seriously. It's just too much of play here. I know for some people or for some clients around here, or for some people, it's based on relationship, right? They've always known this person. So, just they they go. They don't even care. So long as the person can say one or two things on the microphone and he appears a bit cheaper, no wahala. They don't care about the professionalism, the art, the fact that this event is moving smoothly. This event is going to be an everlasting experience because you have a good hand on the mic. But for them, a cheap person, call and come. For a senior man, no. It's if I have my way, if I make a lot of money, I will arrest them. I will arrest them. I swear. That's how painful it is. I'll arrest them.
So you think there's no solution to this now?
Is there a solution?
Because when people say these things about the entertainment space, I look at the knowledge space. We don't really have that problem, basically.
Well,
amongst us, and people. I don't really have. I've not really seen podcasts where people just go, in those of us in the knowledge space, and they are like doing all those banters and
I don't know. They can't banter because they have knowledge now. It's there. They have knowledge. But if you have that level of knowledge and understanding, what are you bantering for?
Right.
You're solid. You know what you're doing. So what are we bantering for?
So I'm wondering if there could be a solution to that for the ecosystem to be healthy. I don't know.
Regulations, right? If we have regulations and associations, I don't know how official it is, but
Sometimes these associations are hijacked by individuals too who don't.
But we can get there. I was going to make reference to Lagos. Lagos is a standard for now, whether I like it or not, right? So I don't know how official it is, but in Lagos there are some form of regulations where, let me say you're an MC, these guys on the camera, they're MCs, maybe about 10 of us are MCs. We reach an understanding
Of what?
Oh boy, any show within they call you for now 1 million. 1 million. Yeah, they're not born you where. Take less than that. You understand? So if you call this person 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, you come back to who you call first. You understand? So if I'm looking forward to the coming years are gonna be very interesting because I'm going all out. Right now government want to tax us, so we have to sit up. So I'm going all out and see how I can stretch and try to have, so we can have more of these associations, more of these groups where we reach an agreement and then have a standard. For the up and coming too, they'll have their own range. We all know our levels. We can't pretend about it. You know your level. The next person know your level. So for the up and coming, we can say, okay, benchmark for you guys would be 150 or 200 because the value of Naira is nothing to write them about now, right? So nobody goes below that, right? For all of you there. So if we by any chance here say you go events as an upcoming, you collect 50, we'll come for you, pay that money, you pay there should be some form of penalty for that. It helps to regulate the game, the business. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prof. It's been an amazing time with you. I mean, if we keep having conversations,
We'll never end
you'll
it.
never end it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Frankie, I'm very, very glad that you'll be able to accept our invitation and be on our podcast. So, guys, I mean, we've all heard it from Mr. Prof. And for those of you who want to really become compares or MCs, think about following him on social media and reading his thoughts, very great, intelligent thoughts that he has there. So, once again, my name is Emeka Noves, and I'm the host of the Knowledge Money Podcast, where we have conversations that lead to the money. Subscribe to our channel and here on YouTube and on our pages, social media pages, and be part of the conversations that we are constantly having on how you can make money from what you know. Till the next episode, thank you for watching us today and stay blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, too.
Thank you.